Okay, new mimer we're starting tonight. This is a mimer that was said, it's this week's Parsha Bar Loischa, in Yitoshin Chav Zayin, which is 1967. That year, Bar Loischa was straight after Shavuos. The Shavuos was during the week, and that Shabbos was Bar Loischa. And the Rebbe said this mimer in 1967, Toshin Chav Zayin. It was only published, edited and published in the year Toshin Nun 1990, and it was given out for Tes Vav Sivan, the 15th of Sivan. The significance of that day was that was the day that the Frierdiker Rebbe went into jail. In Tsarist Russia, the Rebbe said the mimer in 1967, on the 9th of Sivan. It was published and given out on the 15th of Sivan, Tafshin 1990, and the 15th of Sivan is the day that the Frierdiker Rebbe went into prison. He came out on Yud Beis Tammuz, the 12th of Tammuz, a couple of weeks later, and he went in on Tes Vav Sivan. And the Rebbe used to make a thing out of Tes Vav Sivan, the 15th of Sivan, the day the Frierdiker Rebbe went into jail. Which is strange. Okay, Yud Beis Tammuz is a Chassidish Yom Tov. It's the day the Rebbe came out, because when a Rebbe is imprisoned, okay, he's a Neshama Kodesh, is a soul that's a leader of the generation. For that soul to go into jail is a national calamity. For him to come out is a Yom Tov for everybody. And the Rebbe made a thing out of the day he went into jail, explaining that even though that day was a terrible day, but lemafreya, in retrospect, the Frierdiker Rebbe going into jail was only to strengthen him to spread Yiddishkeit even more. And that became clear after Yud Beis Tammuz when he came out. So therefore for us, even Tes Vav Sivan is a special day. The day he went into jail is also a special day, because that led to Yud Beis Tammuz and all of the victory of the Frierdiker Rebbe over Tsarist Russia.
How did he strengthen himself? Like, what's the example of him being stronger when he came out?
Well, he only the Chassidish understanding of every imprisonment of a Rebbe is that in heaven there was a kitruk, an accusation against the work that they're doing. The freeing of them means that
they won that case.
They won the case in heaven. And so it was questionable. What the Frierdiker Rebbe was doing was putting himself at mortal risk, and his Chassidim, spreading Yiddishkeit under communism. And the fact that he was freed meant that he had got the stamp of approval from above, and his activities didn't just stop, but continued and increased, and even further. There was even more going on afterwards than before. So not only did that not slow him down, it actually sped him up. So anyway, that's when the mimer was said, and that was when it was given out. Let's have a look at this mimer. What this mimer is going to do is it's going to put on its head some of our assumptions about Torah and mitzvahs. As every mimer does on some level, gives us a new perspective. So this one too is going to give us a different view of Torah and mitzvahs. How so? Let's see. The mimer starts quoting the beginning of the Haftarah of Parshas Bar Loischa. The Haftarah says, Roni v'simchi bas Tzion. The pasuk that begins the Haftarah is from the book of Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah, and it says, "Sing and be joyous, daughter of Zion." And the pasuk continues, "Kini ba v'shachanti b'soichech nom Hashem," because I have come and I will dwell among you, says Hashem. I will dwell with you, says Hashem. Rani v'simchi bas Tzion, sing and be joyous, daughter of Zion, because I have come to dwell with you, says Hashem. That's how the Haftarah of Parshas Bar Loischa begins. Now, U'medayik Admor Hazaken b'Torah Drusha Chanukah. Dibra Maskul Zeh. The Alter Rebbe in Torah, in the section of Mamarim on Chanukah, starts a mimer with this pasuk, Roni v'simchi, because Chanukah, Shabbos Chanukah, we also read the same Haftarah. We read the very same section, Roni v'simchi, on Shabbos Chanukah. Why? Because the Haftarah is always connected to the Parsha. What is a Haftarah? A Haftarah is a reading from the prophets, from the Nevi'im somewhere, And each one has a connection directly to the parsha or the yontiv or whatever is going on that day. The haftarahs were instituted at a time when there was a decree against reading Torah. There was a decree forbidding public Torah readings. And so the Jewish people, always finding a way around things, said, okay, we're not going to read the Torah, but we'll read the Nevi'im. And so they found a section from the prophets that said the same message or the same theme or reflected somehow the parsha. And so every week they wouldn't read Torah. We're not reading any Torah, you're not allowed to. But they would read something from the Nevi'im that would also somehow be a reflection of the parsha. When the decree was rescinded eventually, like every evil decree eventually falls apart, so they went back to reading the parsha, but they said, well, let's keep the Haftarah as well. And so that they read Torah as well as Haftarah from the Nevi'im. That's why till today we still read the Nevi'im. And so anytime you look at the Haftarah, it has to be somehow connected either to the Yontiv that it's read for or the parsha that it's read for. It's somehow directly connected. Rani V'Simchi, this section, Rani V'Simchi from Zechariah, is read on 2 times. We've read the same Haftarah twice, on Parshas Baloscha this week and also in Chanukah, Shabbos Chanukah. Why? Because in the prophecy of Zechariah, he sees a vision of a golden menorah, which represents the Jewish people, but his vision, one of his prophecies, is of the menorah. And so being that this week's Parsha is Balos Vesaneros, which tells us the mitzvah of lighting the menorah in the temple, in the Mishkan and in the temple. And because the Shabbos Chanukah is of course Chanukah time, lighting the menorah, so the same prophecy of Zechariah is read on both Shabbosim, both Parshas Balos and Shabbos Chanukah. The same Haftarah. Yeah? The Alter Rebbe in Torah in the Chanukah section of Torah is the Mamorim on the Parsha, but there's also on the Yom Tovim. And so in the Mamorim of Chanukah, there's one Maimor called Rani V'Simchi, this same Dibra Maskell, the same beginning as this Maimor. And in that Maimor, the Alter Rebbe asks the following question. Second line. The L'chura yitzarech lahaskell Haftarah the Shabbos Chanukah v'pasuk v'yomer elai gomer Re'isi v'nim menorah zov gomer. The Alter Rebbe asked, surely the Haftarah for Shabbos Chanukah should have started with the pasuk that talks about the vision of the menorah. Vayomer Elai, that Hashem said to me, and here I saw in front of me a golden menorah. Zechariah describes this vision of a menorah. That's the connection between Haftarah and Chanukah, and that's where it should have started. So V'lama Maschilim B'Rani V'Simchi Bas Tzion. So why does the Haftarah begin Rani V'Simchi Bas Tzion, which is many verses earlier? In fact, it's an entire chapter before. It starts in chapter 2 of Zechariah, whereas it's only in chapter 3 that we start hearing about the menorah. So why do we have this whole preamble of a different vision, Rani V'Simchi Bas Tzion, a different prophecy, nothing to do with the menorah, if the reason why we're reading Zechariah is because it's Chanukah? So there's no connection. Yeah, you get the question?
Yeah. Again.
That the Haftarah connects with the Yom Tov. The reason why we're reading Zechariah is because he had a vision of the menorah. But the Haftarah doesn't start with a vision of the menorah. The Haftarah starts with a chapter beforehand, of something completely different to the menorah. And then, towards the end of the Haftarah, it has this vision of the menorah. What do we need all this preamble for if the Haftarah is supposed to be connecting with Chanukah, lighting the menorah? So we only need to hear the part of his prophecy that's talking about the menorah. But Rani V'Simcha Bas Tzion, sing and be joyous, daughter of Zion, has nothing to do with lighting the menorah. It's a different section.
So we're going to try link sing and be joyous with Hanukkah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah?
Is it not like, are any of the other Haftarahs at all related to Hanukkah that could have been that one?
Could have started
or
in a different
excuse
place.
me, but like just could a Haftarah, can you split a Haftarah up? It's a portion, right?
Haftarah is a section of one of the Nevi'im.
Right, so if they wanted
this one starts in the middle of chapter 2 of Zechariah and goes into chapter 3 of Zechariah.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? It's chapter 3 of Zechariah that talks about the menorah. Chapter 2 has nothing to do with the menorah. So why does the Haftarah start at the middle of chapter 2 and then go into chapter 3? Just read chapter 3 about the menorah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
But we do that a lot in terms of, like, on Chagim, when we want to talk about a Chag, we talk a lot about all the other hugs sometimes.
So it all has to be explained every time. Why are we doing this?
Okay.
You're right. Sometimes you speak about other stuff. There's nothing to do with the Yom Tov. You take a section,
On the new moon.
Kol
or
B'cher,
whatever
or
it
this,
is,
it all has to be explained every time. It's not just like, well, they thought, we can't end shul too early, so we better do more laning. No, there's a reason why we're laning this stuff. Always a reason. And that's what Alter Rebbe is asking. So here, why are we reading this section on Hanukkah when it's only really relevant the next section to Hanukkah?
So who designated that this should be read on Hanukkah?
This is from probably Anshe Knesset Dola, or sometime, I'm not sure exactly the time frame when the Haftarah was enacted, but it was Chazal. Yeah. So the Alter Rebbe has a very interesting answer for this. So the Alter Rebbe explains, the end of the third line. In Torah, why do we start with Rani v'Simcha Bas Tzion? The Alter Rebbe explains, Shashayich is the Rani v'Simcha Bas Tzion l'Chanukah, that there's actually a direct connection between Rani v'Simcha Bas Tzion and Chanukah. And what is that? Ki Bas Tzion koi al Knesset Yisrael b'zman hagolus. Because the term Bas Tzion, daughter of Zion, that name for the Jewish people, is specifically referring to the Jewish people as they are in Golus, in exile, disconnected. That's when they're called Bas Tzion, the daughter of Tzion. The Bizman Habayis Nikras Knesset Yisrael B'Shem Tzion. During the times of the Beis HaMikdash, during the times when there is a temple and there is revelation, so then the Jewish people are called Zion, Tzion. But when they're in exile in Golus, they're called the daughter of Tzion, Bas Tzion, K'mavur Sham Barucha, as the Alter Rebbe explains. Meaning, what the Alter Rebbe says is that the name Tzion means a sign. The word Tzion means a sign, a symbol. Just like a symbol, when you look at a symbol, like there's a sign on, like a bus stop, that's saying there's a bus stop here. So the sign is not about the sign. It's not that there's a sign here, it's there's a bus stop here. The sign means there's something else. It points to something else. It indicates something that it represents. That's what a sign is. Now, you don't have a sign up because you want a sign. You have a sign up to tell you something else.
Otherwise it's a picture.
Right. So, Tzion means a sign. The Jewish people are a sign. We're not us, we're Hashem. We represent something higher. Our presence in the world is a direct reflection of the divine. That's our mission, that's what we're here for, that's everything about the Jewish people, is about Hashem. When the Beis HaMikdash stands, you look at Israel, you look at Yerushalayim, you look at the Jewish people, and you see holiness, you see revelation. We are simply a sign for Hashem. A sign pointing upwards to Hashem. When the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, we're Bas Tzion. We're the daughter of Tzion. We're like one step removed. We're still Tzion, but we're the daughter. We're not directly in a state of revelation. You don't see Hashem revealed in the Jewish people, but also we're still the daughter of that. We're still connected to that, and that's still our definition. So in exile we're called Bas Tzion, the daughter of Tzion, as opposed to in times of revelation we're called Tzion. So Alter Rebbe there explains that Hanukkah is a time when we emphasize that we're Bas Tzion. But we say, Rani v'Simcha Bas Tzion. Sing and be joyous, Bas Tzion, the daughter of Tzion. Be joyous, because I'm coming to dwell amongst you. Why? Because Hanukkah is a time when we light candles, but we light them in the dark. In the darkness, outside, in the Rishus HaRabim, in the public domain, which means within darkness, within Golus, within exile, within the world of disconnection, we light up candles to show that even in the state of Bas Tzion, even when you're in that state of being the daughter of Tzion, one step removed, when you're in Golus, still Hashem dwells with you. And you can find the divine light even in Golus, even in exile, even in the state of disconnect. So in Torah, that's how the Alter Rebbe explains that this is why we read the Haftarah on Shabbos Chanukah starting with Rani v'Simchi Bas Tzion, sing and be joyous, daughter of Zion. We don't start with the menorah, because the Rani v'Simchi, that part, be joyous and celebrate, the daughter of Zion, is actually directly connected to the energy of Chanukah. When you're in a state of Bas Tzion, in a state of darkness, disconnect, golus, you can be joyous because Hashem dwells with you. You can find Him there as well. And that's the whole theme of Chanukah.
So Chanukah Zionists call themselves Tzionim. I'm just trying to find,
Signs to Hashem.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but this is, I feel like that before, I think, if I'm right, you're focusing on the word Zion, right? But it's totally different when you've got daughter in front of it, and not.
Zionism.
No, too, because I also thought about it as soon as you said that daughter of Zion is a reference to us being in Golis, and I thought about all the people or whatever that refer to Zion as Israel in a very patriotic and way, but then I realised Zion is still it still is what I think they think it is or what we think it is, but daughter of is when we're removed.
Yeah. Correct. So that's the Alter Rebbe's explanation in Torah of the Haftarah of Chanukah. Second paragraph. But the Rebbe asks, but now we have a question. The question that the Alter Rebbe asked, that the Haftarah begins not with the menorah story, but a chapter before with celebrate and be joyous, daughter of Zion. That question, who gam b'Haftarah the Shabbos Parshas Baloischa, could equally be asked in this week's Parsha, Parshas Baloischa, which has the exact same Haftarah. And why do we read the Haftarah Rani v'Simchi from Zechariah? Why do we read that this week? It's not Chanukah. Because Baloischa Seneiris, because this Parsha Baloischa talks about lighting the candles in the Beis Hamikdash. And so the lighting the candles, the menorah, it's connected. That's why we say. But you can ask the same question. So then why do we start the Haftarah Rani v'Simchi Bas Tzion? We should start it with the menorah that Zechariah saw.
No, because the point of it is that you can be joyous because you can find Hashem here.
That's good for Chanukah.
But
what's that to do with Baloischa?
More so with the Beis Hamikdash. Hashem is dwelling there.
Baloischa was when you
But then it's Sion, not Bas Sion.
Right.
So the same question you can ask, and you can't answer the same answer. The answer in Chanukah, why that fits, is because Chanukah is about bringing light to darkness. But you can't say that answer with Parshas Baloischa. Why not? Because Parshas Baloischa is Shebesmichas Lezman Matan Torah Seinu. Parshas Baloischa is always read immediately after Shavuos, the time of the giving of the Torah. The Matan Torah Hu Inin Cherus. And the whole thing of giving the Torah was that we were given freedom at the giving of the Torah. Freedom from any subjugation. Freedom from any exile. Beyond any darkness.
Can you say that again?
That Parshas Baloischa is always read after Matan Torah, after Shavuos. And what's the mood of this time of year of Shavuos, of the giving of the Torah, is being freed from any exile and any subjugation and any foreign power able to hold us down.
Kal v'chomer on the other way. When we got the Torah, the problems just kept going.
Problems?
Yeah, we're Jews, we have anti-Semitism. I mean, we're always in Golis. How does getting the Torah relieve us from that?
But we'll have a look at the note number 5 down the bottom. What does it mean that we've got freedom at the giving of the Torah? K'maim Razal, look at the note. Our sages say in several places, in Erevin, the Gemara Erevin, Shmos Rabbah, in the Medrash, and in Vayikra Rabbah, and other places. Ala Pasuk, Choros ala Luchos. There's a verse that describes the engraved words on the Luchos, on the tablets. The word engraved used is Choros ala Luchos. The words of the Aseret HaDibros were engraved on the Luchos. Al tikr charus el cherus. So the Gemara and the Midrashim say, you could read it not charus, engraved, but cherus, freedom. There is freedom on the tablets. What freedom? So the Medrash says, cherus min hagolius. On these tablets, there was freedom from exile. Cherus min hamalchis. There was freedom from all foreign kingdoms. Or the Gemara says, Enkul umu v'loshen shaletus behem, that there was freedom that no nation could possibly subjugate the Jewish people when they received the Torah. Had things stayed the same, there could have not been any exile. It wouldn't have been possible. The problem was, there was a cheta egel, golden calf, and we lost the state that we had at the giving of the Torah, and we had to do tshuva. Okay, fine. But as far as the giving of the Torah is concerned, receiving the Torah, when you receive the Torah, you receive complete freedom, you're above Golus. Which meant that even though after the giving of the Torah, the Jewish people did go into exile several times, but we weren't exile material. You can't really be exiled, you can't really be in Golus, you can't really be disconnected when you have the Torah. Because the Torah is our direct connection with Hashem that makes us beyond any foreign subjugation. Nothing can really hold us down. And that's the play on the words. The charas al luchos, the words that were engraved on the luchos is actually cheres, freedom on the luchos. So therefore, the mood of this time of year, having just received the Torah, is that we're above Galus. Even if you're in Galus, you're in exile, but you're not in it. You're not really in it, because a Jew's soul can't really be exiled. With Torah, you can't be really in Galus. It's not where we're at. It's not who we are. So we're not emphasizing now the darkness, and you can bring light into the darkness. That's Hanukkah's thing. But Shavuos is darkness. You're not in it in the first place. You're above it. Torah takes you to a place that's above the darkness.
Our souls.
You're free from that.
Right, and Hashem isn't free from all that.
So, meaning, when you learn Torah, when you're connected to Torah, when you have the Torah, so you're not in a state of Bas Tzion, of Golus, you're Tzion. You're connected, you're there. Like it says in the Gemara that Hashem's presence rested in the Holy of Holies, in the temple. And after that was destroyed, where's Hashem's presence? In Daled Amal Shel Halacha. In the 4 cubits of Halacha. In Torah. So when you sit and learn Torah, you're in the Beis HaMikdash. You're in a state of revelation. Torah is above the whole thing of Golus. So in Parashas Baloischa, which is in this season of the giving of the Torah, when we've just received the Torah, we've just received that freedom all over again. And nevertheless, and nevertheless comes along the Haftarah of Parashas Baloischa. At this time it says, Rani v'simchi Bas Tzion. Be happy and joyous, sing, daughter of Zion. Bas Tzion. Who's Bas Tzion now? We're not into that now. It's fine for Hanukkah. Light in the darkness. We're above the darkness now. We just received the Torah. We're beyond it. So how can that be the beginning of the Haftarah? Admittedly, this is a question that only the Rebbe would ask.
Why?
I don't think any of us would find it difficult to understand. Well, how could the Haftarah of Parashas Baloischa, straight after Shavuos, talk about Golus? As if we're in Golus. Makes no sense. I don't think that would strike any of us, or any other commentary ask this question, But for the way the Rebbe looks at things, Torah is exact. And everything has to fit. And so we're not just reading Haftarah, like opening a book, reading about something. There's a certain energy that is around every Shabbos and every month and every week and every time of year and every day. There's a certain mood, spiritual mood. The spiritual mood of Parashas Baloischa is the aftermath of the giving of the Torah. So from that perspective, we just came from Mount Sinai. We just received the Torah, where we got total freedom from all all foreign power. We're out of the darkness. We're in light of Torah. So how can you come, Parshas Baloischa, and then read about Roni V'Simchi Bas Tzion, talking about a Bas Tzion, about Golus, bring light into Golus? We're not there. We're not a daughter of Tzion. We're on a much higher level. It's the type of question that takes a certain view to even come up with a question.
I don't necessarily see. You said things like that at that time we were above Golus, but I see, and I do believe that that the Torah being given gave us freedom. But I see it more as potential freedom. If we engage with Torah, if we choose not to, then we're not above Golus. Like you said, when we sit and learn and when we connect with Torah, so that's when.
No, it says that when we're given the Torah, Pascha Zumasa, the stain that came into the world through Chet Adam Rishon, from the sin of the tree of knowledge, got rid of from them, from the Jewish people who were at Mount Sinai. They didn't have a Yetzer Hara. It wasn't. It happened. It actually happened. They were completely above it.
Amen.
And they sinned.
How could they sin without a Yetzer Hara?
How did Adam and Eve sin without a Yetzer Hara? It's a good question. That's a separate discussion. but that's the state that we're in. Pascha Zumasa. That all negativity got rid of.
I also think that at that time we just got given the Torah, like we just found out what we're meant to be doing. How could it be that we were already considered as if we were doing it all? We weren't even, like in terms of Bas Tzion.
Okay,
or
because you're seeing Matan Torah as being an information evening. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our mission, this is what we need to do. That's not what Matan Torah was. Matan Torah was a revelation of Hashem. It was we experiencing a direct revelation of Hashem right down here in this world. Hashem came down to Mount Sinai, and we stood there and received that. That's what the giving of the Torah was. The information Hashem could have passed on in many different ways. Matan Torah was a divine revelation, an experience of Hashem. The likes of which never happened before, never happened since. That was a transformative experience. You're not the same person after Hashem has just spoken to you. You just saw Hashem. Saw Hashem. Ata hareisol adas ki Hashem hu Elokim. You have been shown to know that Hashem is Elokim. Yeah. Like they were shown it. It was not just hearing about something or getting our mission. It was a transformative event. And so someone who goes through that is above Golus now. Like you can't fool someone in that state. You can't.
Except that they were fooled and they did sin without a Yetzer Hara.
So that's a different discussion of how and why. It's a good question, not for the scope of now.
Okay.
But the experience they had at Matan Torah was such a transformative experience. And every year at Shavuos we have it again.
Okay.
That we experience again, standing at Mount Sinai. That's what Shavuos is. So here we are, we just stood at Mount Sinai, we just had the revelation of Hashem, we just saw the voices and heard the sounds, saw the voices and heard the sights, and experienced this divine revelation just a week and a bit ago. And now you're telling me, Roni V'Simcha Bas Tzion, be joyous, daughter of Tzion, you can bring light into the darkness. What darkness? We're not up to that. It's not where we are now. That's a Hanukkah thing, not now. So why indeed? So let's go into the next section. In Torah there on Chanukah, there are actually two mamarim that both start Roni V'Simchi, the same verse. The one we quoted now was the second one, but the first one, Mekasher Pasuk Roni V'Simchi Bas Tzion in Maimer Medrash. There, the Alter Rebbe connects the Pasuk Roni V'Simchi Bas Tzion with a Medrash, a fascinating Medrash. The Medrash, I'll tell you outside what it is, and then we'll read the words. The Medrash quotes a Pasuk from Shir Hashirim, Song of Songs. It says, Tzena orena bas Tzion, benois Tzion, b'melech shloimoi, ba'atar she'itru la'imoi. The verse says, Tzena orena, go out and see daughters of Tzion, the crown, see the King Solomon, the crown that his mother has given him. Okay, go out and see the daughters of Tzion, the king, the crown that his mother has given him. Now, in that verse, we've got three characters. We've got daughters of Tzion, we've got the king, and we've got the mother, the king's mother, the crown that his mother gave him. So who are the daughters of Tzion, in metaphorically speaking? Us. We already saw the Jewish souls. Who's the king? Hashem. Who's his mother?
Tara?
It's like the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like our Hashem's
That's
mother.
like our religion.
But who gives Hashem his crown?
Right.
We do.
We give him his crown. So we're his
We're
mother?
two people. Maybe. Only working backwards, not forwards.
Right.
I usually like what Liam says.
So we're the daughters, we're the mother.
I like us being both. I wouldn't have thought of it, but I like it.
Yeah, it's good. But that's weird. We're Hashem's mother. Daughters, okay, mother. So the Medrash says that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai came to Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi and asked him, can you tell me any explanation your father may have said on this pasuk? The crown that the mother gave. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is asking Rabbi Elazar ben Yossi, your father was Rabbi Yossi, can you tell me any explanation he may have given on this pasuk? So Rabbi Elazar ben Yossi says, yeah. He gave a mashal, a metaphor. The metaphor of a king who had an only daughter, whom he loved passionately. He loved her so much he called her my daughter. He loved her so much he called her my sister. He loved her so much he called her my mother.
I would think that that's decreasing levels of love.
And so Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said,
No,
if you only came into the world
Yeah.
to tell me that interpretation, your life is worthwhile.
I agree. Parents always say that a kid will never know what it's like to love a child
yeah.
until, obviously.
Until they become a mother.
Yeah.
But even then, once you learn, it's not like you're going to love your mother the same way that you love
Yeah,
your child.
exactly. But if you can do that little trick where you can be both, then you get to experience both.
So that's the Medrash. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says that if that's what you came into the world to do, to tell me that pshat from your father, your life is worthwhile.
Sorry, who said that to Rabbi Yochai?
Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi. He said in the name of his father, Rabbi Yossi.
To Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Like, who asked the question?
Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai asked him,
Right, okay.
do you have an interpretation from your father? He said, yes. A mashal. And so, so one second. The mashal was a king who had an only daughter. And he loved her so much he called her my daughter. He loved her even more, he called her my sister. And he loved her so much he called her my mother. So, who's in the mashal? Who's the king, who's the daughter? Hashem is the king, and the Jewish people are the daughter. He loves us so much he calls us his daughter. He loves us so much he calls us his sister. He loves us so much he calls us his mother.
I knew you nailed it. Yeah.
That's right.
Also, the last moment he did call us his sister, no?
Right. And in several places in Shir Hashirim it says Achosi Kala, sister, the bride. So Hashem calls us his daughter. He even calls us his sister. He even calls us his mother. And so who is the mother that gave the king the crown?
Me.
It was you.
Your purpose? No, chas v'shalom.
Okay.
It is. To
So
give
now-
us
I was going to say,
understand.
What
your
we have to
purpose is
understand-
done, thank you for your life, chas v'shalom, I'm sure there's much more for you to do.
So we have to understand, what does it mean we're Hashem's daughter? Does it mean we're even Hashem's sister? What does it mean we're even his mother? What are we talking about here? So let's have a look. Maimer Medrash, the second line in base, fourth line from the bottom. So Maimer Medrash, ala pasuk tzena rena b'nai Tzion. The Medrash on the verse, tzena rena b'nai Tzion. Go out, daughters of Zion. B'melech Shlomo. Go and see the king Shlomo. Ba'tara she'itla imay, and the crown that his mother crowned him with. So on that, the Medrash says, Mashal Melech Cholu. It says the metaphor of the king with the daughter. Lezaz mechava ad shekar biti. That he loved her so much he called her my daughter. Lezaz mechava ad shekar achosi. He loved her so much he called her my sister. Lezaz mechava ad shekar imi. And he didn't stop loving her. He loved her so much he called her my mother. So the Alter Rebbe quotes this Medrash in connection with Rani V'Simchi Bas Tzion, talking about the daughter of Zion. So this also talks about Benos Tzion, this verse. And the Alter Rebbe explains, the Gimel in Yonim Eila Bit Yachosi Imi, these three states of being, daughter, sister, and mother of Hashem, Ba'avodas Adam, translated into our spiritual service, our avodah, our work in serving Hashem, there are three different relationships with Hashem. Hemkiyam mitzvahs, Eisek HaTorah, Avodah Mesiras Nefesh. They correspond to doing mitzvahs.
Three different levels or three
different levels or interactions between us and Hashem. That's keeping mitzvahs, learning Torah, and having Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice.
In which ones?
Can you just repeat those three again?
Yeah. That biti achosi imi, my daughter, my sister, my mother, correspond in avodas Hashem to us doing mitzvahs, us learning Torah, and us having Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice, willingness to die for the cause.
So mitzvah's Torah.
Mitzvahs, Torah, Mesiras Nefesh.
Are we ordering them in some way? So really, you could do no mitzvahs and learn no Torah and be an apikoros your whole life. And if you give up your life, al kiddush Hashem, then you've now achieved everything.
There are
I wouldn't say
stories like that.
everything,
There's
but
that guy that...
high level.
Good discussion time.
Thanks for sharing.
With the gap in their world.
We won't say who that was.
She just ran. No, she didn't. The other way.
Still don't say who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's analyze this. Top of the page, or the next page, at the back. The B'kiyum ha-mitzvahs, Adam Mekaymis ha-mitzvah, hu b'chinas makabel bas. When you keep mitzvahs, so the person, you keeping the mitzvah, you are a receiver from Hashem. So you're called a daughter. Because you receive a divine flow of blessing that is drawn down through the mitzvah you did. But when you learn Torah, you become like a sister, a friend, an equal to Hashem, which is achoisi, the level of my sister. But when you have Mesiras Nefesh, when you give your life over to Hashem, then you're called my mother. Because then you're actually giving to Hashem.
Is there no other way for us to give to Hashem?
Let's explain.
So where did it say first the love about the mother, daughter, sister? Was that in the Haftarah?
No. Those three levels were in the Medrash on Shir HaShirim. The Alter Rebbe connected it to the Haftarah, because the Haftarah talks about Bas Tzion, the daughter of Tzion. So he connected it to the Medrash that talks about the level of daughter as compared to sister and mother. In these three relationships, daughter, sister, mother, what are we talking about? What's the contrast between them? A daughter relationship means relating to somebody below you. The daughter is looking up, receiving from. A sister means somebody who's on the same generation as you, an equal, same plane, a peer. Mother is someone you look up to, you receive from, someone who looks after you.
Is there a reason it's all in the feminine?
Because Shir Shirim, Hashem is the man and we're the woman, always.
Okay.
But within that, there's the man's daughter, who he looks after. There's the man's sister, who is an equal to him. And there's his mother, who he receives from. So too, in our service of Hashem, in our relationship with Hashem, there's three ways we relate to Hashem. As daughter, sister, mother. When we do mitzvahs, we're the daughter. When we learn Torah, we're the sister. When we have Mesiras Nefesh, we're the mother. Because when you do mitzvahs, you're totally on the receiving end. When you learn Torah, you're on an equal par. When you have Mesiras Nefesh, you give him. You give Hashem. How so? Because the Rabbi said that when you do a mitzvah, you are totally receiving the Hamshacha. The divine flow of energy that comes down through a mitzvah is something that you're being given. You can't seriously say that when you do a mitzvah, you have created a divine energy in the world. Let's say you do a mitzvah. You put a coin in a charity box.
I guess we're not creating, we're probably just revealing it.
Because
we always say, you light Shabbos candles, you bring light to the world.
Right, you do bring light to the world, but you just brought light to the corner of your room when you lit Shabbos candles. You brought light to the world.
No, spiritual.
Yeah.
All right. So
Like, are we creating that light, or are we just revealing?
So how is your lighting candle bringing light to the world? What is it about your candles? What is about your candles that can bring light to the world?
Because Hashem told you to do it.
Because Hashem made this a mitzvah. So there's nothing you did that can make this a global event. You lit candles and now the world is lighter, spiritually lighter all around. There's nothing about you lighting candles that innately does that. It's that Hashem has given you a mitzvah and He's giving you a hamshach. He's giving you a divine light along with it. And so too with any mitzvah. Any mitzvah we do, you give tzedakah, or you shake a lulav, or you sit in a sukkah, or blow shofar, whatever you're doing, that brings down a divine light into the world. How? What? What did you do to bring that divine light? A ram's horn? Blowing a ram's horn? Like, you created this divine light? It's just that Hashem has given us these opportunities, these ways of doing it. It's totally from above. We're receiving it completely. There's nothing about our doing that by definition should bring divine light. No one could say, well, I just blew a ram's horn, so there should be more divine light in the world. Based on what logic?
What about your kavanah at the time?
If you didn't have kavanah?
No, even more. I learned once that if you do a mitzvah that you kind of don't, you really have no passion for and you don't want to do it, but you do it because Hashem told you to, it's for Hashem. So in
Might
that
be even
sense,
better.
yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. So in that sense, aren't you doing it for Hashem? Aren't you giving? I mean,
Right, but the whole thing is, you didn't even have kavanah. So what's it to do with you? It's just Hashem. Hashem has given you this mitzvah. You're doing it, and you're getting all this divine
because
light.
you chose to do it. You have a choice.
I understand, but you didn't create this choice. You didn't create this opportunity. Hashem said, here, all I want you to do is put this coin in a box. Light this candle. That's all I'm asking you to do. And you transform the entire world. So you do it without any meditation, without any... It's not your power generating divine light. You're just going and lighting a candle. And because that's a mitzvah that you're doing, you're getting divine light. That's all receiving. It's all from Hashem. It's all coming from Him. And you're receiving it, like a daughter who's being supported by the father. You're receiving what you need.
You mean like He's given us the option? Like without the mitzvah, we wouldn't have the option to do that?
He's given us the option. He's told us what to do. And then when we do it, He floods us with divine light.
But that kind of
It's
makes
like-
it sound like when we do a mitzvah, we're not even like doing anything. we're just doing it because of show. Like, it kind of makes it sound like, I don't know, like, nothing that we do, like our mitzvah, doesn't increase divine light.
No, it does. It does.
No, but like the way you're saying it, like, that's our purpose. Like, it's not making...
It's just saying that we're not so great for doing it.
What it's saying is that, you can't say that, you know what I did? I went and lit a candle, and suddenly the whole world got brighter. Like, I don't know how I have this power, but it's... you don't have the power. Hashem gave you an opportunity to bring divine light in the world. We're not belittling what you've done. It's amazing what you've done, but can you take credit for that? Can you say, this is what I came up with? I came up with this great way of bringing light to the world. Light a candle on Friday afternoon. Hashem gave you the opportunity to do it, and He made it that when you light candles, you're going to bring down divine light. And if you would have done it on Tuesday afternoon, nothing would have happened.
You still chose to do it. You could have chosen not to do it.
True.
And then,
True.
so there is a bit of credit. Is there not?
Right. That you lit a candle or you didn't light a candle. But the divine light that came down into the world as a result of it,
It's not your...
Hashem gave that to you.
Okay.
So it's like you've got a little daughter, and you tell her, you know what, if you clean up your room, so then you're going to get an extra treat. What, cleaning the room creates this reward? Like, no. The parent wants the child to do something. So you tell them to do it, and then you're rewarded for it as well. It all came from the parent. The room and everything in it, and it's all the parents. It's all a gift from the parent.
So there's nothing we can do in doing mitzvahs to give to Hashem.
There's nothing we can do in doing mitzvahs that we have generated. The whole definition of a mitzvah is it's not you, it's what Hashem said to do. That's the whole thing that a mitzvah is. If you start saying, you know what, I'm gonna make this mitzvah better. I'm not just gonna light a candle. I'm gonna light a huge spotlight. It's not the mitzvah. It's not what you asked to do. It's not. You're not making it the mitzvah. Hashem made the mitzvah, and the light that came down is His as well. Learning Torah is not like that. Learning Torah is different to that. Because learning Torah, you do have to participate in that. There has to be much more of you in learning Torah than there is in doing a mitzvah. When you do the mitzvah, you don't have to understand what you're doing. Your mind does not have to be in tune with the event that you're doing. It's a matter of just doing what you need to do. When you're learning Torah, so learning Torah is not just an act that you can do. It's something you have to concentrate on. You have to be there. You have to be present. You have to understand it. You have to put yourself into the experience. The definition of learning is you internalizing a concept, an idea, becoming a part of your mind. It becomes you. Someone can force you to do a mitzvah. I think we discussed this Pesach time. The halacha says that if somebody shoved matzah down your throat on the night of Pesach, you just did a mitzvah. You didn't want to, you weren't interested in it. You swallowed matzah on Pesach, you've done a mitzvah. Someone could force you to do a mitzvah. They can't force you to learn Torah. Somebody cannot tie you down and make your mind understand a concept. You have to open your mind to it, focus on it, understand. You have to be there. It takes some participation from you. And if you don't, then it didn't happen. So when we learn Torah, we also draw down an amazing divine light into the world. But there, you are participating in that. Because if you learn Torah, but you're actually not learning, if you read a page of Torah, but you're actually not even reading it, you're not even saying the words, you didn't learn. If you're not understanding the thing of Torah, you didn't learn anything. If you understood something, you understood something. If you understood nothing, not a word, so then you didn't learn anything. You can't call that learning. Learning is understanding. You have to be there. You have to take part. You participate in learning. And the power of Torah is, what are you learning? You're learning a concept that is Hashem's wisdom. Hashem has put His wisdom in Torah, and so as you learn the words of Torah, you're learning divine wisdom. And where's that divine wisdom ending up? In your mind, as a part of you. You're connecting with the divine wisdom. When you do a mitzvah, the mitzvah does not become a part of you. The mitzvah you just did is gone. You've done something, you've had an effect, but you haven't ingested anything. Nothing. You haven't taken in the mitzvah to be a part of you.
But I thought we were receiving.
Sorry?
Like, I'm just having trouble connecting this whole presence within the mitzvah of learning or doing a mitzvah and giving or receiving from it. Like, I don't understand why, just because we are not responsible for the fact that there is a mitzvah to be done, that we cannot be giving in it.
Okay. We're talking about two things. There's the act that you're doing, and there's the impact that it has, the result of the act. When you do a mitzvah, the act is doing the mitzvah. The result is there's a divine light that comes into the world.
Yeah.
When you learn Torah, the act is studying Torah.
Okay.
The result is there's a divine light that comes into the world.
Yeah.
The difference is, when you do a mitzvah, the act of the mitzvah has nothing to do with you. To do a mitzvah means to do what Hashem said. Not what you said, not what you came up with, not your little flair or personality. It's what Hashem said to do. So it's nothing to do with you. The act has nothing to do with you. It wasn't your idea. You just have to do it. It's Hashem's idea. And the divine light that comes down as a result of the mitzvah is not because you did something, it's because Hashem decided that when you do this, I'm going to give you divine light. It's not because lighting candles brings down divine light, it's because Hashem's mitzvahs bring down divine light. Because Hashem decided that lighting candles will bring you divine light. So there's nothing, it's not saying, Hashem is not giving us this secret formula. Do you know what? No one ever knows, no one knew about this. But I want to tell you that if you do this mitzvah, divine light comes into the world. No. It's not that. It's that Hashem decided that doing that will make divine light come into the world. Like the Alter Rebbe says in Torah, in the Torah, if Hashem would have given us a mitzvah to chop wood, so chopping wood would bring divine light into the world. Happens to be He gave us a mitzvah to light candles. But if it would have been chopping wood, then chopping wood would have brought divine light into the world. And it's not because chopping wood is a holy act. It's because He made that a mitzvah. Whatever He makes into a mitzvah is a mitzvah. It's all coming from Him. Both the act and the result that the act brings is all coming from Him. Whereas Torah learning, both the act of learning Torah as well as the result that it's brought about, you are involved in. There is you in there. Because learning Torah needs you. It needs you to concentrate, to focus, to be a part of it, to actually participate in the learning. It can't be done against your will. And not only that, but the divine light that's brought down is what? Is divine wisdom. There's divine wisdom now in your brain. It's from your learning. Because you learnt it, now there's divine wisdom in your brain and in the world. There's divine light in the world. Hashem has, in Torah, Hashem has come down to us. He's put His wisdom into stuff that we can understand. So He's actually come down to us so we can study it, learn it, and connect with Him. In mitzvahs, He didn't come down to us. His will is in things that we don't understand. We don't relate to why this, why not that. We don't relate to it. We just do it. So the act is from Him and the result is from Him. Whereas in Torah, the act we participate in and the result is something that we actually experience. You change when you learn Torah. You've now got divine wisdom in your mind. So therefore, doing mitzvahs, you're the daughter, receiving a gift, receiving a handout, receiving something from above. Learning Torah, you're the sister. You're seeing eye to eye with Hashem. You're now understanding something about Hashem. You're relating to Him.
Because you said that when you learn you learn and understand and then connect. What is the connection? Doing the mitzvah that you've learned.
No. The learning is the connection.
Yeah, okay, so that's one. But then what do you do with the learning? What does the learning create us to do? You don't just learn and that's it, go off and live your life. No, you learn and then it doesn't encourage, it makes us, the wisdom in our brain makes us do mitzvahs. That's why I think it's about, I know I'm obviously wrong.
Learning Torah is for learning Torah. There's learning Torah to do mitzvahs. There's learning Torah, which is learning Torah. That is a mitzvah. That is
I understand that. But what's the result of learning Torah? Besides for the mitzvah itself. What's the direct result?
Connection with Hashem. A oneness with Hashem. Through learning Torah.
Yeah, but we've learned in other Maimarim, it doesn't, it's unfinished. It's unfinished. You learn Torah and that's a connection, but it's unfinished until you put it into practice.
In the Garden of Eden, they learn Torah. Souls learn Torah.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Yeah, but they're not physical. They don't have mitzvahs to do that.
So why learn Torah?
It's a different world. I don't know why they learn Torah.
Because learning Torah means connecting to Hashem. There's a connection to Hashem through learning Torah. A oneness that there's no oneness like it in the universe. When you learn Torah, you are ingesting the divine wisdom.
I just always understood by that the point of learning Torah was to help us to understand and not that we should understand every mitzvah, but
that's one part of it, but that's not the entirety of Torah.
It feels like learning Torah is saying is like more important.
And we've learned in other ones.
Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam.
So is it more important?
But I agree
than
because you can't just connect.
In some ways, yes. It's the greatest of all mitzvahs.
No, I do understand. I get
There's
that.
other reasons why mitzvahs are greater, and that we'll discuss later. But at the moment, we're saying that in the pecking order, there's mitzvahs, there's Torah, and there's higher than that, which is Mesiras Nefesh, which we haven't got yet to. Mitzvahs are where we're purely receiving from Hashem, nothing more than that. Torah is where we're seeing eye to eye. We're actually relating to Hashem on a deeper level. Torah is not just an accessory of mitzvahs.
How can it be doing a mitzvah, which is doing the will of Hashem, right? What Hashem wants, purely. How can that be not... How can that be... I'm not saying... I don't care. It doesn't bother me if it's higher or lower. I'm just saying in terms of giving and receiving from it and our role in that, I don't see how us performing the will of Hashem is not giving to Him firstly, and also that it's not, that it's emptier than learning Torah.
Not emptier. And we're going to see later a different way of looking at things. But for now, what it's saying is that the point of a mitzvah is not about you.
Yeah.
It's about doing what Hashem wants.
Yeah.
It's not about you. So therefore, you are told what to do in the mitzvah, and then your mitzvah brings down this divine light. Why would my lighting candles bring down divine light? There's no reason why it should, except that it's a mitzvah. Hashem decided to. If somebody asks you, so you're telling me I should light Shabbos candles, and that will brighten up the world. Why on earth would my Shabbos candles brighten up the earth?
Hashem wants it to be like that.
That's the only answer. Because that's how Hashem wants it to be. It's not because you're doing something so out of this world. It's because Hashem decided that this is the way my light comes down to the world. So therefore it's totally coming from Him and not from you. That's what a mitzvah is. Therefore we're called biti, we're the receiving end of a mitzvah. We're told what to do, and we're given this amazing gift. Learning Torah, on the other hand, is different. If somebody says, why on earth should learning Torah bring more godliness into the world? Why should that be? We would say, I'll tell you why. I'll explain to you why. Because what is Torah? Torah is the way Hashem has taken His wisdom and He's put it into words that we can understand. And so therefore, when you learn that, you are taking in divine wisdom in your brain. Not in a magical way, like say these words, abracadabra, and divine wisdom comes. No, you learnt it. You did it. You actually studied something. You understood something. You spent now an hour talking about something and you got something in your mind. Like you could walk out here and say, I just learned something, an idea. So you know what just happened? The divine wisdom has come down and it's in your brain because you grappled with it, you thought about it, you understood it, and you've understood something. You can't say that about Shabbos candles, but you can say that about Torah learning. So the relationship we have when we do mitzvahs is like a father-daughter relationship, where the father tells you what you need to do, and he gives you rewards for it. It's all coming from him. The relationship we have with learning Torah is like a sisterly relationship, where we're actually having a conversation with Hashem now. He's actually telling us, this is my opinion, and we're hearing it and grappling with it and understanding it. There's like a relationship of equals, as it were, in learning Torah. And then there's Mesiras Nefesh, which is where we're actually giving to Hashem. We're actually giving him something. We're the mother looking after him. Can we learn a few more lines? So we're going to explain at further length what it means to give to Hashem. But he connects it in the fourth line on the page. We can connect this with something that's explained in several places. On that very verse we said, the crown that we give Hashem, that his mother gave him, and we're the mother. So it's explained in Chassidus elsewhere. The crown that we gave Hashem, referred to in this verse in Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, the mother gave Hashem a crown. When did the Jewish people give Hashem a crown? In Chassidus it explains, it was when we said Nasa before Nishma, we gave Hashem a crown. Because the bittul, the level of surrender, of nullification, that's expressed through saying, we will do whatever you say, we'll hear about it, we'll understand it later, we'll do whatever you say. That statement is like having Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh is, I'm willing to die. I'll put myself completely aside for Hashem. That level was Nasa v'Nishma. We'll do whatever Hashem says. We're completely giving ourselves over to Hashem. That level of bittul, that Mesiras Nefesh, actually gives Hashem a crown. It says at the bottom, it says that we received 2 crowns. It says the angels gave us a crown for Nasa and for Nishma, but there was a 3rd crown that we gave Hashem through the fact that we said Nasa before Nishma. The fact that we were so dedicated to Hashem, that level of bittul gives him something. He receives from that. That's when we're being his mother and he's receiving from us.
Explain like a bit more practical example to that, what that actually means.
It will come a bit later in the Maimar at this level. So in order to not confuse, because we've had some heavy concepts, we'll leave that a bit for later. But if you look in the next paragraph, it'll give a bit of insight into it, of what it means that we give to Hashem. A little bit in the next paragraph. One of the reasons why Parshas Baloscha, this week's parsha, is always read straight after Shavuos, because we know that candles are an image of the Jewish soul. Like it says, the candle of Hashem is the soul of man. Our soul is compared to Hashem's candle. So Baloscha and Eris, the candles of Baloscha, is referring to the Jewish soul. Now, the Rebbe says here something unbelievable. What does this verse mean? Often quoted, Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam. The candle of Hashem is the soul, is our soul. Our soul is Hashem's candle. What does it mean, Hashem's candle? What's Hashem's candle? if you say this candle is Chaim's candle, what do you mean by that? What is this candle's connection to Chaim? What does it do with Chaim? Why does Chaim have a candle?
To see.
To see. Right? If Chaim doesn't have a candle, he's in the dark. He needs a candle to see, to be illuminated, to have light. So when you say this is Chaim's candle, it means that this is the candle that Chaim needs to give him light. So what's Hashem's candle? The candle that gives him light. So Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, what does that mean? Hashem's candle is our soul. Our soul is his candle. Meaning, our soul gives Hashem light. Unbelievable. We give Hashem light.
Through Mesiras Nefesh, only through the last bit.
Yeah. So, the verse says, the Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam. That Hashem's candle is the soul. Our soul is Hashem's candle. How do we usually understand that? It means that our soul is like a piece of Hashem, that Hashem's light lights up our soul. But hang on a minute, that's not what it says. It says that our soul is his candle. Somebody's candle is there to illuminate for them. So if our soul is his candle, it means our souls give light to Hashem. We provide something for him. We give to him. Not just that our soul receives light from him, we give light to him. We're his candle. Without the candle, he wouldn't have that light. So it means that this verse, it's from the book of Proverbs, Mishlei, that says the Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam is saying that the soul provides light for Hashem. Gives him something. Let's look. It's the end of the second line of that paragraph. The Pirush Ner Havayhu Shanashama Me'ira Mashbas Kavyochel Havayah. The translation of the candle of Hashem means this, that the soul is the candle of Hashem, that the soul provides light, gives, as it were, to Havayah, to Hashem. And in fact, the Rabbi says it straight in the Medrash. Kedisa b'Medrash, there's a Medrash on that pasuk, ala pasuk ba'alois chasaneris, on the pasuk in our parish of ba'alois chasaneris, sheYisrael me'irim l'misha mer l'chol ha'olam. The Jewish people illuminate the one who illuminates the world. The souls of the Jewish people, ba'alois chasaneris, the candles described in ba'aloiska are our souls. Our souls are the candles. What does it mean, the candles? Whose candles? The candles for Hashem. Hashem's candles. We bring light to Hashem with which he can light up the entire world. Not he gives us light to light. We give him light to light up the entire world. We providing for him. So that's why we read Ba'aloischa straight after Shavuos, because on Shavuos was when we said Nasa v'Nishma, when we reached that level of bittul of Mesiras Nefesh, complete nullification to Hashem, which is where we give Hashem, we provide Hashem with something. We're the mother that gives him the crown on Shavuos. So straight after Shavuos, we're described as being the candles, the ones that give light to Hashem to bring light to the world.
But then that makes us the mothers of Zion, not the daughters of Zion.
So ends the paragraph. And now we've got an even bigger problem. Now the question is much bigger. Very good. Now it makes no sense at all. The haftarah of Ba'aloischa, which is the level of imi, when we're the mother bringing light to Hashem, we've just had Mesiras Nefesh of Nasa v'Nishma of Shavuos, and we're bringing light to Hashem, we're the level of mother. And what's the haftarah? Rani v'simchi bas Tzion. Sing and rejoice, daughter of Zion. Daughter? Who's talking about that?
Maybe a really nice compliment, when like mothers like to be called daughters, like, oh, you guys must be sisters. Maybe it's just like a really nice compliment. So we're going to see in the rest of the Maimon what it means that we give to Hashem, what the whole concept means. And we're going to see how even though we've set up things, that the mother is the top of the hierarchy, then the sister, then the daughter, meaning the highest thing in Mesiras Nefesh, Torah is a bit lower than that, and then mitzvahs are the lowest. Yeah, but it actually looks the other way around as well.
I reckon this is when
Yeah.
Leah's. I knew it. I reckon this is when Leah's gonna be. That's what I was talking about.
And the level of daughter is actually the highest of all levels. But that, God willing, we'll see in the ensuing weeks.
Thank you.
Good.